When we talk about money, we usually think of numbers, spreadsheets, and budgets. But what if I told you that most of our money decisions actually start with feelings? Long before we ever look at a bank statement, we learn about money through emotion and observation. Maybe it was seeing a parent stressed out at the kitchen table, or that feeling when a paycheck disappears way too fast, that sense of relief when the bills are paid, or the anxiety when they're not. At its heart, financial management isn't just about controlling dollars. It's about bringing some order to all these emotions. Think about it. In our daily lives, money feels like a constant current. It flows in, it flows out, and most of us are just trying to keep our heads above water. Life doesn't stop. Rent is due, whether you had a good month at work or not. Groceries cost more this year than last, and those unexpected bills, they always seem to show up at the worst possible time. The truth is, we humans aren't naturally wired to balance our long-term goals with short-term pressures. We react to urgency, comfort, fear, and hope much more strongly than we react to pure logic. This is exactly why we need financial management. It's not about some get-rich-quick scheme. It's about creating stability in a world that's anything but predictable. When people say they want to manage their money, what they're really looking for is control over uncertainty. They want fewer surprises, fewer sleepless nights, and fewer moments where one unexpected expense threatens to derail everything. One of the biggest goals is simply survival making. Sure, you have cash when life demands it. Most of us aren't trying to become millionaires overnight. We're just trying to get through the month without the stress spilling over into our relationships or our health. Effective financial management helps reduce that friction between what we earn and what we owe, making daily life feel manageable instead of overwhelming. It's also about balance. We aren't machines. We spend money on things that bring us comfort, connection, and joy. The goal isn't to stop spending on things you love, but to make sure that spending isn't silently sabotaging your future. Finally, financial management is about continuity and dignity. Life is full of changes: jobs, family, health. A good financial plan acts as a buffer, helping you adapt to these changes without feeling like your world is collapsing. And in our culture, money is tied to our sense of identity. Feeling financially stable often means feeling responsible and independent. When our finances are chaotic, it's easy to feel shame. But by creating clarity and replacing panic with perspective, financial management supports our dignity. It's not about mastering money. It's about building a system that's strong enough to support your real, messy, beautiful life. Why do we manage our money? It's not something we learn in school. Our money habits are forged in moments of pressure. Think about it. Paydays followed by spending sprees. Bills followed by a sigh of relief. Emergencies followed by a wave of regret. Over time, our brains start linking money to these intense emotional cycles, not as a simple, neutral tool. Financial management exists to break these cycles. If we let them run unchecked, they quietly take over our lives. One of the biggest reasons we need to manage our finances is for predictability. We humans love patterns. When our money feels unpredictable, stress skyrockets. Even if we're making a good income, you can be earning a decent salary but still feel like you're constantly falling behind if you don't have a clear picture of when money comes in and when it goes out. Rent, utilities, insurance, subscriptions, they don't just cost money, they take up mental space. Financial management helps quiet that noise so you can think beyond the next bill. Another key reason is to introduce a little bit of restraint. Our economy is built for speed. One-click buys, instant approvals, buy now, pay later schemes. They make spending so easy that our brain thinks it's low risk. Financial management brings back the pause. It's about slowing down those small decisions that can pile up into long-term financial pressure. It's also about alignment. We like to think we spend based on our values, but our bank statements often tell a different story. A lot of our spending is just a reaction. We're stressed, so we buy something for comfort. We're bored, so we start scrolling and shopping. We see what others have, and we want to upgrade. Financial management helps connect who we think we are with what our spending actually shows. And of course, there's security. Not about getting rich, but about getting rid of fear. The fear of a sudden car repair, of getting sick and missing work, of one bad month wiping out years of hard work. The system doesn't care if you're having a tough time. Bills still show up. Managing your money is about building a buffer to protect yourself from being punished just for being human. Ultimately, it gives you a sense of control. So many of us feel like we work hard, but are still stuck. It's frustrating when your effort doesn't lead to progress. Taking charge of your finances gives you back that sense of agency. It doesn't make problems disappear, but it changes money from this big, scary force into something you can understand and plan for. It's about giving your future self a voice in today's decisions. In the end, financial management isn't about being perfect. It's about creating just enough structure so your emotions aren't the ones driving your financial life. You know, after a while, money stops being something you just think about. It becomes a feeling. When your finances are all over the place, that feeling is constant tension, a knot in your stomach. But when they're stable, it's a quiet confidence. And that's one of the biggest, most overlooked goals of managing your money. Emotional peace. It's about letting money fade into the background so it supports your life instead of running it. In so many homes, financial stress isn't loud arguments about spreadsheets. It's quiet. It shows up as being easily irritated, avoiding conversations, or just feeling tired all the time. People aren't fighting about the numbers. They're fighting about timing, priorities, and trust. That's why managing your finances is so important. It creates a shared reality. When things are unclear, we fill the gaps with assumptions, and our relationships end up paying the price. Clarity isn't just about money. It's emotional. Another huge benefit is simplifying your decisions. We're bombarded with choices every single day. Insurance plans, payment options, subscriptions, credit. Our brains just weren't built for that constant mental math. A good financial system sets up defaults and boundaries, freeing up your mental energy for things that actually matter. And what about mistakes? They happen. We all overspend or miss a payment sometimes. Without a system, a mistake can feel like a personal failure, like it defines you. But with a plan, mistakes are just events. They're things that happened, not who you are. The system absorbs the hit and helps you recover without spiraling. This is so crucial because it separates your actions from yourself. You can say, something went wrong, instead of I am wrong. Ultimately, financial management acts as a buffer between you and the big, impersonal financial world of banks and lenders. It translates their rigid rules into something manageable for a real human life. It doesn't promise a perfect, flawless financial journey because life isn't perfect. What it does offer is control over your response. It gives you a way to stay steady even when things get rocky. In the end, managing your money isn't about getting rich or proving anything. It's about making life feel a little less fragile. It's about reducing the emotional toll of living in this economy. When it's working right, you barely notice it. It's just quietly holding things together so you can get on with living. What's the real point of managing your money? I mean, at its deepest level. It's not about being impressive or optimizing every single penny. It's about building a life that feels livable. That's it. Most people aren't chasing some abstract financial milestone like $1 million. They're just trying to get through the day without feeling like they are on the edge of a cliff. They want weeks that are manageable and years that don't feel like one long emergency. The real goal is sustainability, not just for your bank account, but for your emotions. As we get older, our relationship with money changes. When you're young, money feels urgent. You're always reacting to things. Later on, it becomes cumulative. Those small decisions you made years ago start to have a bigger impact. And honestly, fatigue sets in. So the goal shifts from constant problem solving to simple preservation. Preserving your energy, preserving your options, and preserving that feeling that life isn't just a series of financial crises. Without that, burnout quietly takes over where ambition used to be. Another huge part of this is controlling your own story. We understand our lives through narratives. When your finances are a mess, your internal story becomes one of failure or bad luck. You start telling yourself you're just bad with money. But good financial management lets you write a different story. One where money is messy, sure, but it's understandable. Setbacks are just chapters in your book, not the final page. This shift changes how you talk to yourself and how you see your future. It's also about the impact on the people you love. Even if you think you're managing money just for yourself, your stress spills over. Kids feel it. Partners sense the tension, even if you never talk about the numbers. Financial management is a way to reduce that emotional fallout. Stability might not make a lot of noise, but trust me, its absence is deafening. And let's talk about choices. When money is out of control, your world shrinks. You stay in a job you hate. You put off going to the doctor. You delay important life changes. Managing your money doesn't guarantee total freedom, but it expands your options. It turns a hard no into a not right now, which feels completely different to our brains. In the end, it's not about making your money behave better. It's about you feeling steadier in a world that wasn't built for our emotional comfort. Financial management is a quiet act of self-respect. It's you saying that your life, even when it's messy, deserves some structure. And when it's done right, it doesn't take over your life. It just creates enough order for you to finally breathe. For most of us, that breathing room is the real definition of success. Thanks for watching.